beautiful, bouncing, bonkers bakers. We're having a bonker baking day today because the sound has just disappeared off my phone, so I'm not too sure what's happening. So without further ado, we are going to do something that's fun for Christmas. This is amazing for kids to do. We're going to do a cookie in a jar. So one of the things I love about doing about cookies is that when you do distinctive layers, sorry lads, I'm out of breath now with all that bouncing on Sunday morning. So when you have your layers in your cookie jar, it just looks so pretty. You can decide in relation to whether you're going to use dark chocolate, white chocolate, cranberry, pecan, nuts. The most important thing is to keep the flour at the very end, and also to have a barrier for your brown sugar. Brown sugar and flour don't mix well when they're put into a cookie jar. I have found out the hard way. Brown sugar and flour, the flour will absorb the moisture from your brown sugar and your brown sugar will end up rock hard. So these will keep for at least 4 months. Everything is weighed out. All you need is a bit of festivity and ribbon and bling. You have got a cookie in a jar. So these are Kilner jars. They work out roughly about €4. What's important as well is the actual quantity, or the volume rather, of the jar is a litre, okay? So you have a litre jar. So the Americans would call it quart. So apologies to any Americans watching. So we are doing our cookie. So again, this is a litre jar and this is a litre. This is square and this is a round tubular. So all we're going to do is we're going to start with our ingredients. So we have got 200 grams of plain flour. To that plain flour, I am adding bread soda and baking powder, a teaspoon of each. So one of the things I do, rather than having them layered, I'll actually just stir it into the flour. Now, I don't have a jam funnel. If you had a jam funnel, it would be fantastic for making these cookie recipe jars. So I'm using a piping bag. Now, quite a large hole. Sit right at the base, and I'm going to put in my flour. Nice and slowly. Cannot believe the stress this morning because the volume is gone on my phone. And I was saying, oh no, couldn't possibly be me. It has to be Facebook. No, couldn't possibly be. It has to be a fault of my phone. Fixed the fault of my phone. Checked, testing, 1, 2, 3 this morning. Computer says no, it didn't work. So, don't know what's happening. So, in goes my flour. Give it a shake, shake. The reason it's going into a piping bag, and this is great for kids too, because obviously they're going to control the amount of quantity in time into the into the jar, and it prevents all that flour from creating a mess on the side. Now, I'm just going to give it a little bit of a tap. Now, one of the tricks that I have is an icing nail, right? Now, kids are great for this because they've got tiny little fingers. Now, obviously, this is a spike, but you could use something like a stamper or something different. All I'm doing is I'm gently pushing down the flour because I'm compacting. This jar will make, cookie-wise, about 24, if not 28 cookies. Now, if you can see them on the tray, these ones I've just included with Smarties, pink Smarties. You can use the colourful Smarties, you could use cranberries, you can use white chocolate, pecan. It's only for a bit of colour. You can use crushed candy canes. So candy canes are beautiful, and you'd have a little bit of peppermint. So all I'm doing again, I'm just compressing the flour to make sure everything will fit. So we have got 200 grams of plain flour, a teaspoon of each, bread soda, and we've got our baking powder. I'm using mother of invention, an icing nail, to compact the flour. You can by all means go in with the spoon, and you can, if you're going to go in with the spoon, bend the spoon that you're not particularly in love with, bend your spoon, and then you can compress your flour. Now, the next thing that's going in are our oats. So we've got 90 grams of oats. I just love this because it's just such a fantastic gift to somebody, particularly if they're not into baking, so that they wouldn't have their flour, they wouldn't have loads of sugar and all these treats at hand. And in goes our, clean as you go, in goes our oatmeal. Give it a bit of a shake. Now, as you can see, I'm doing the same thing again. I'm rotating, whoa, like a hula hoop, whoa, the bag. And again, I'm going in with my trusty little icing nail and I'm flattening this down. Bum, 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 bum. I love looking at 2 jars, and if you were to ask kids which jar of sweets would you like, they'd probably go for the tall one. And yet, they're both exactly the same in volume. So you can do this cookie in just 1 litre jars. It's like when you were in school and the teacher says, how heavy is a kilogram of feathers and a kilogram of potatoes? And they go, oh, it's the potatoes are heavier. But they're both the same, okay guys? So, a bit of teaching this morning. So again, we're just compressing. Now, as I mentioned, it is important not to put the brown sugar between these dry items. You've got the flour and you've also got your oats. The oats and the flour will take from your brown sugar and that can go rock hard. Ping! My other old phone. It's not an old phone, but it is now if it's not working. So we've got our flour, baking powder, we've got our oats. And the next thing that's going to go in are chocolate chips. So we've got 100 grams of each. So we've got 100 grams of dark chocolate, 100 grams of white chocolate. We have used, in this particular one, 100 grams of Smarties. You could use 100 grams of cranberries. Anything just in relation to volume. If you're going to change a particular ingredient, keep the volume the same. So in goes our dark chocolate. This is skill now because I want the dark chocolate showing through. Followed by our white chocolate. Whoop. We need this again. Just a contrast of colour. Now, as it's obviously getting closer, you can see those lovely colours. And next, just loosen it up a bit, our brown sugar. So we have 150 grams of brown sugar. Now, I'm loosening it, but then I'm going to compact it. So when it goes into the jar, don't have a heart attack when you think, oh my God, it's not going to fit. It will. So all I'm doing is I'm just coercing my brown sugar with my little spoon. And again, I just need to compact it because the last thing that goes is 100 grams of caster sugar. Now, these cookies are not for every day because I know they're full of sugar and chocolate. So, giving that a bit of a smush, smush, smush. And then for the very last, you don't need the funnel or the piping bag. All I'm doing is I'm just putting in my caster sugar. Give it. Sugar. Ta-da! Happy Christmas to me. Happy Christmas to you. Cookies in a pot, okay? So we've got all these gorgeous layers. We've got the plain flour, we have the oatmeal, we have the chocolate chips, we have the white chocolate chips, we have the brown sugar, and we have the caster sugar. Now, what's lovely, of course I couldn't get them yesterday, is a wooden spoon wrapped around the jar, festivities, ribbon, and the instructions, which I will put up in a few minutes. And boom, you've got a gorgeous Christmas present. So, you get this gorgeous Christmas present and you go, that's amazing. Thank you so much for these cookies. What do I do next? So, you have got your bowl and you've got your cookie mix. With your cookie mix, you will need 130 grams of melted butter. So, in goes my melted butter into a bowl. Followed by beautiful free-range egg. Thank you, Michael, for your beautiful eggs. Farmsy.ie if you're looking for beautiful eggs. So just giving this a whisk, 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 whisk. Now the other advantage of having the sugar at the top, is that the recipient of this amazing gift, out goes my sugar first. And I'm only putting out the sugar just because I want to mix it a little bit. Doesn't matter if any Smarties or chocolate go in. I just want to mix the butter sugar, and some suicidal Smarties have dived in. And all that is just getting the consistency right, getting your brown sugar, followed by, I tell myself, followed by your dry mix. Just giving it a bit of sugaroni. And in goes, and stir, stir, stir. Now, I've used pink Smarties just for drama and effect. You can use coloured Smarties. one of the things to be very aware of when you are making these cookies is that any of the coloured, as they call, candy shapes from your Smarties, anything that has colour, M&Ms, you will find the colours will fade when they're in the oven. So looking at the tray of the pre-cooked cookies, what I have done is when they've come out, this is where obviously kids will have to sort of stand back because the M&Ms, and you can see the glistening of the chocolate chips, I have added, of course, an extra 1 or 2 while they're out of the oven and still warm. You can see here that that pink one is quite pale in comparison to the vibrant pink. That's because that's a fresh M&M, fresh Smartie, pushed into the cookie when it's warm, and a few strategic chocolate drops on the cookie just to give, as I said, a bit of colour and drama. So when it comes to your cookie mix, all you need to do is get a tray, scoop out cookie, probably the size of, I would say, a good tablespoon. I'd say even a larger tablespoon. Now, these will go into the fridge for about 15 minutes to chill. So all I'm doing is roll, 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 plop, plop. Bring these over here. And 2 minutes. Well, I prepared one earlier. Kazoom! So we have got our cookies. At this stage, you could nearly put these into a freezer lock bag. Into the freezer they go, and anytime you are looking for a mad rush of cookie, get a fresh sheet, you can put them into the freezer as is and freeze them, open freeze them. And then when you're looking for an emergency ration of cookies, which is everyone, every day if you've got children, emergency ration. So we've got 6 cookies, now about 4 fingers apart, just because the space you can see on the tray, they will expand. In they go at 180 degrees, which is 350 Fahrenheit, which is gas mark 4, and you put them in for 10 minutes. Now when you put them in for 10 minutes, they will puff up and then they go down again. So they puff up and you think, oh my God, these are raw. There's no way these are going to be cooked. They are. They flatten themselves. And then you end up with these beautiful, gorgeous, divine, squidgy cookies that are absolutely gorgeous. So you could incorporate red and green M&Ms. Instead of the Smarties, you could have white chocolate chips and cranberries. They are the most versatile, delicious cookie. And then of course, I've done them with tablespoon. You can obviously make the cookies that little bit smaller. If you're going to make that cookies that little bit smaller, the jar in which the cookies have come, wash out, and you've got your baked cookies. Now lads, that baked cookie ain't gonna fit in that container because I decided I was gonna go big in relation to my cookies. So if you want to, what you can do, if you don't want to do the jars, are these little bags. Snack bags, clear bags. And all you do is you get a big, fat cookie, slide it into the bag. Whoa, I'm still wet. Sorry, now look, lads, what not to do when the cookie is still warm. So when your cookie is still warm, wait for it to go cold, and you've got a smushed up cookie. And look at that, I'm sorry, no. That, lads, Facebook Live is a train crash. Do not put the cookie in a bag when it's wet, even with my hands, 2 seconds. Oh, I love it. What you do know, Trish, is you put the cookies into a bag, you tie them in silver, they'll be all gorgeous for Christmas. Wait until your cookies are completely cold and set. Then put them into one of your bags. So you have a bag and you have a little foil container. Oh wow, you have a silver ribbon. put your little cookie into your bag, silver ribbon, kapoo, you've got a little present. So, I mean, the beauty about something like this as well is you've got all those amazing kids at home that will be finished Christmas and they've got buddies. How great would it be to make a cookie nearly the size of your head, goes into a bag, and that's for a buddy. And it's in plastic, and it is COVID regulated with regards to just having your hygiene and bags and no touching. So, with the cookies today, we have had our little cookie, and as you can see, in this particular cookie jar, we have done white chocolate chips and dark chocolate chips. You can go crazy and do your pink M&Ms. There are no rules in baking. There is no cookie police knocking on my door to see what I'm putting into my cookie jar. That sounds a bit ominous. Erase that. So lads, I have had issues with my sound. My amazing daughter Lucy has sorted it out on her phone. So we are now filming on her phone. So she will automatically delete this in about 5 minutes before I download it. Cookies will be in the oven. They will be divine. They're quick, they are easy, but even nice again. They're perfect for sharing. Put them into a jar and they are great fun for kids. Wow, Sunday mornings would never be the same without some sort of mayhem with Trish. It's an electrical extension cord or it's the sound of my phone. So I hope you enjoy these cookies. These are quick, they're easy, they're delicious, they're perfect for presents, and I shall see you again next Sunday at 10.